Hi, my bundles of joy. I hope you're doing well. My name is Joy and this is INXJOY. Sorry I've been gone for a while. There's just been a lot of different life complications and I've finally had the chance to settle down from all of it. I took a break for a bit just for my own well-being as well as for moving purposes. So yeah, happy to be in this new home. And I'm so happy to finally get to read messages for all of you. I missed you all so much. Alright, anyways, not to make this too long. This video today is what have you healed? The intention for this video is to remind the spiritual baddies, the light workers, the star seeds, and anyone else who doesn't necessarily identify with any of those, but people who just come to my channel to connect to Divine Source and their healing so far. The intention of this video is also to pause and rest in the acknowledgement of what you've done so far and how far you've come. And the questions that we're going to be addressing are what has your pile healed from, the good karma you have for resting, and the energies presently supporting you, as well as the words of encouragement / praise for all the work that you've done. So yeah, we have 4 piles today. We have pile number 1 with this Fool's Gold, also known as Pyrite, with the card Healing Heartbreak. We have pile number 2 with this wooden heart that my partner made for me, as well as the card Uncovering Confidence. We have pile number 3 with this golden healer crystal, as well as the card Integrating the Ego. And last but certainly not least, we have pile number 4 with this honey calcite, as well as the card Rewiring the Nervous System. So those are the 4 piles for today. And as always, timestamps will be linked down below, and I will see you at your pile. Bye. Hello, my pile ones. If you've chosen this Pyrite or Fool's Gold and this Healing Heartbreak card, then this is your pile. So I have to re-record this. And whenever I have to re-record something, it always signals to me that there might be, like, symbolically, there might be just like a redo in your life. So there might be something that you have went through and are coming back to. For example, because you have this healing heartbreak, definitely feels like you might be coming back to a sense of self again, coming back to a place of your own, coming back to a space in which you are nourishing yourself. Yeah. But also with this healing heartbreak, just addressing the first question of what you've healed, you are definitely healing a past part of you that has gone through the trials and tribulations of what it means to break a heart. And the back of this card says, "My heart will love again." So whether this be from another person in your life, a ending of a passion project, or from grief that you feel from the world, it feels like right now in time, what you have healed and what the Divine Source wants you to recognize is that you are healing the heartbreak of what is going on. And take this as it resonates, seeing as this is a general reading. So this can definitely be in a lot of different senses of what healing heartbreak is. Normally we think of it as healing a personal like partnership, whether that be an ex-partner, ex-friend, cutting off family members. But because it's paired with the Fool's Gold especially, it definitely reminds me of something more of healing something that's related to a passion project, healing something that's related to your ambitions, your goals, healing something that's more deeper in the sense of the inner work that you have been doing on yourself. Alright, let's go further into it though. So Divine Source, please connect me to the energies of my pile number ones today, so we can answer the question of what they have healed. What has my pile number one healed in regards to this heartbreak? What has my pile number one's healed? You have Temperance in reverse as well as the Queen of Swords. Okay, so what I get from it is that, beautiful cards by the way. Love how it looks. But what I get from it is that you definitely have stepped into your own power. And it feels like you are stepping into your own power. Maybe you're not fully there yet because I had to bite my tongue a little bit there. So it feels maybe like you are now getting comfortable in standing tall in your own identity. Getting comfortable and standing tall in who you are, and you're no longer having to keep the peace, as a lot of people would say, you know. Sometimes being neutral on something and keeping the peace isn't actually peaceful at all. For example, if you've been keeping up with world affairs, then you definitely have known that right now there is a genocide going on in Palestine, and there is probably an aspect of you who has had to fight for what you have believed in, and fight for the rights of those who can't. And I'm getting very emotional right now, so you're probably my social justice warrior pile, and if you don't like to identify with that, you are just a human that cares about other humans and the genocide that is going on in this world. Excuse me, sorry. And that's also what I was getting from this healing heartbreak card, was that it was very much healing, not only healing the heartbreak from a partnership, but it's a deeper collective issue. And it's clear to see that with these two tarot cards that it feels like you have healed the aspect of yourself that recognizes that it is okay to step into this Queen of Swords. It is okay to be someone who knows what it is that means justice, knows what it is that means, that understands that revolutions do not come without a fight. Revolutions do not come without the tearing down and the destruction of old traditions and old ways of being. And one of those being the neutral argument, that a lot of people have been trying to pass by. And you know, as someone who also has had to do this work, because it is work, it is hard work, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically. It is hard work to have to stand your ground and tell your loved ones, hey, what is going on in the world is not right, and your neutral peace argument is not right because of the factors of what it means for this peace to occur, means the silence and the erasure of others. And that is not right. That is not true peace. That is why temperance is in reverse, because you recognize and you understand that hard work, because I'm being drawn to Saturn heavily, hard work is in being able to stand tall in your moralities, in your faith for the human world, for your compassion for others, you know? I believe we are at the 116th day of the genocide so far. So you may have been one of those who have been actively been sharpening your mind throughout these days to recognize and understand why all this destruction is happening. And you have been those that have had those tougher conversations with your loved ones to let them know that what is going on in the world is heartbreaking. It's not right. It's not human to want to see a whole nother person, people, group be bombed to death, starved to death, ethnically cleansed through an occupation and regime that is hell-bent on destroying them, who's hell-bent on keeping a white supremacist way of living as the standard. You are hell-bent against that. You say no. You have the inner wisdom, the intuitive eye to recognize that we are not free until everyone is free. That the genocide of the Palestinians is not right. And so right now you are most likely healing from this heartbreak. And that's not to say that your heart isn't broken still. That it is not to say that you don't still hold this dear to your heart. It is more to say that you have strengthened yourself, strengthened your being to sit tall in what you stand for. You might be going to protests every week. You might be posting every day. You might be keeping up with the news, even when it hurts. Because you know that you have the privilege to feel these emotions. That you can witness these things and make a difference to those around you. Yes, okay. So let's continue in regards to this healing heartbreak stance. I feel very called to look up this Fool's Gold, so let me find something. pyrites. So if I can find, there it is. Okay, awesome. Alright, so pyrite is an iron sulfide, an excellent protective stone, forms a shield to keep out negative vibrations, resonates with both earth and fire, and allows one to connect with the earth and channel through the body, supports our blood's ability to carry oxygen, excellent for manifestation and taking action on one's will, encourages overcoming fears and taking action, good for directive manifestation. It definitely feels like you have been someone who has been directly manifesting a free Palestine, as well as obviously freeing the Congo, freeing Sudan, freeing Yemen, freeing all these countries, freeing Armenia, like freeing all these countries that have gone under colonial imperialism, who have gone under these dictatorial regimes disguised as peace, disguised as saviors, when in fact they are not. So it definitely feels like you have been a protective energy for those that don't even know you're protecting them, being a voice for those that need it, or being martyred for it. So yeah, okay. Let's continue on. We'll go into your good karma. And this deck specifically calls for the cards to be upright, so we're going to keep them upright. Hi, teacher. Hi, cutie. My cat just joined me for this reading. We love that. Alright, so divine source, please tap me into pile 1 and the good karma that they will be receiving for this healing process. You know, I was gonna, intentionally, the question was good karma for resting, but as we both know, the work that you have been doing is not that restful. It is a constant work of emotional, physical, mental, spiritual labor. So yeah, it's more of the good karma that you have been doing for the collective. And again, because this is the good karma tarot, we're going to be keeping all of these upright. So we have the 9 of Cups, as well as Strength, as well as the 9 of Cups. I love the 9 of Cups because that is what my last name is basically a remembrance of. That's why I also have a tattoo of a heart on me, because the 9 of Cups in the game reverses is called canola. And that's anyways, kind of funny. So in terms of the good karma that you will be receiving for doing this hard work, definitely feels like what you'll be receiving is something that you've wanted to, that you've been dreaming for, that you've been hoping, praying for, something that will fulfill you in this regards to healing this heartbreak. And you know, I definitely feel like there will be a free Palestine in our lifetime. I definitely feel like there might be a bit of a struggle, there might be a bit of a time period in which there is a fight for this. But because of this, because of what you've been through, you are receiving an enormous strength, an enormous power of will, an enormous way of being able to exercise your own will to manifest this protection over these people. And it comes from a place of love, you know, it comes from a very loving, very kind, very generous, very beautiful place. What you'll be receiving is wish fulfillment. You might be someone that identifies with the divine feminine, because I'm being very called to this bow, but because of the strength that you have, it's something, it feels like you have really mastered that. You've mastered both the divine masculine feminine essences of yourself, and because of that, you in your good karma will be able to will and manifest things of your own heart's desire. Because of the strength and the determinations that you have. It definitely feels like this wish fulfillment will be within your reach. And you know, like your intuition and all your third eye's information when it comes to your foundations, when it comes to your minds, your heart, your soul, those will be alluded to, given to you. And we love that for you. We 100% love the fact that your desires and wishes will come about because of the good karma that you've had, because of you standing your ground, because of you being this protective embodiment for those that need it. It definitely feels like your heart will be fulfilled and, again, healed. It might not be quick, it might not be tomorrow, but it definitely will come about. The masses are calling for it. The masses are calling for this huge collective liberation. And it's getting through to those in positions of power. For the first time since, you know, this has been going on for centuries, but for the first time since October 7th, the UK Secretary on Foreign Affairs, I believe, has called for a acknowledgement and a rebuilding of Palestine, of Palestine. And I don't really see a lot of spiritual gurus talking about this, but like I definitely know it is in this community. And you cannot do spiritual work without recognizing the collective liberation that comes with it. You can't do the spiritual work without acknowledging those that have come before you in the history, or if you want to be super feminist about it, the herstory that is needed to understand why we are here and what has been done and how we can move forward. I definitely feel like your good karma comes in with having your wishes granted of seeing this come, of having your wish granted of seeing this come to those that might have not seen it in the past, those who might have been advocated for two-party solution, two-state solution, those who have been neutral, those who have been ruffled by the feathers that you have been yelling out with your chest. Those people will come to understand and realize within due time your wishes and especially when it comes to your heart space of wanting the collective liberation to be free and the responsibilities that come with it. You know, it's the Knight of Cups, so there's room to grow. There's room to really look at how far you've come and to also move forward. And so there's just a lot of strength that you will continue to have while going through this occupation, while going through this genocide. Now, if I'm flagged on YouTube for this, then so be it. Like, I don't know why the content suppression... Actually, I do know why the content suppression is happening. It's just, I think it's ridiculous. But anyways, it's definitely something that is coming your way, is this wish fulfillment, this huge embodiment of strength, and this lens of love that you exude to the world. That is definitely your good karma because of all the healing that you have been doing and continue to do. So thank you so much for doing this work. Alright, I want to do the energy supporting you at this time, as well as words of encouragement. So one sec. Amazing, okay. So we're going to do this other beautiful new deck called Women Who Dare, as well as this amazing original, the Therapet deck. So you get the last few messages. Alright, again, the super new deck is set to open and cut away the protective case. And I had to do this with another deck for you. So I think it's very symbolic of how much you've kind of shed in regards to those who have been trying to say that they're protecting you, and those who have had the intention of protecting you, but in all honesty, we're just keeping you in a bubble, you know? I think you've let go of those who haven't been able to see what's going on in the world and have compassion for it. And that might have been really hard. And it definitely feels like you're healing from those connections and the heartbreak that it might have given you. And you're doing so gracefully. We love that for you. We love that for you. Okay. Amazing. Okay, I don't have to do anything with this. Awesome. So Divine Source, connecting with my power lines and connecting me with the energies that are currently supporting my power lines at this time. What energies are supporting my power lines at this time? I might get two cards for you, one from this deck and one from the Goddess deck. Okay, perfect. So the first one that you have so far is Sarah M. Grimke and Angelina Grimke-Weld, activists and writers. I'm not even surprised. I'm not even fucking surprised. Alright, so Sarah Grimke was repulsed by the treatment of enslaved people on her father's South Carolina plantation and frustrated by the educational inequities of the time. Defying state law, she taught the enslaved girl who intended her how to read and write, arousing the fury of Grimke's father. After moving to Philadelphia and converting to Quakerism, Sarah and her young sister Angelina were among the first women to speak publicly against slavery. Their 1836 writings were burned in the South, and the sisters were threatened with arrest if they ever returned. They were criticized in the North for refusing to abide by social conventions and discouraged women from speaking in public. Frustrated by the sexism of the abolitionist movement, the Groupe sisters began advocating for the rights of women. The 1838 publication of Sarah's Letters on the Equality of the Sexes predated the first Women's Rights Convention in Seneca Falls by 10 years. I'm getting so emotional. That is a beautiful card to be pulled out. It definitely resonates with the whole reading. I'm so sorry. Apologies. I didn't expect to be so emotional with this, but yeah, this definitely feels like you. It feels like you're an activist, you're a writer, you are ahead of the times, you are someone who advocates for the injustices around you and sees when something is not right. You have such a beautiful soul. You are the revolutionaries who are changing the environment around you by who you are and the words you speak. And you definitely have these energies presently supporting you at this time. Okay, let's also get a goddess and siren energy for you. I honestly didn't think I'd cry so much in this reading, but like honestly, what do I expect? It is just so lovely to connect to other individuals and souls who have also been going through this and who continue day by day, every day, showing up for the collective, for yourself, for those around you, for spirit, for divine source, whatever you resonate with. Yeah, okay. So divine source, if you can get me one more card for the energies that are around my pal lens, supporting them at this time. Thank you. Oh my god. And we have the beautiful Lilith. I love Lilith. Lilith is conjunct my North Node, so heavily resonate with this as well, but I really hope you also heavily resonate with this too. Lilith is also a patron goddess of equality. She's the one who broke free from the shackles of patriarchy, who said, nope, I am out of here if you don't want to follow if you don't want to follow the way that I want to do things, then this isn't a partnership, this is a authoritarian dictatorship, and I'm out of here. So this is what Lilith has done, and this is the energies supporting you at this time. She is someone that is continuously held as a goddess of the feminist movement, and it's something I definitely feel is something that resides in you, my dear, lovely pile number ones. All right. Last but not least, because I don't want to make this too long, it's already a half an hour. Last but not least, let's get you with Therapet card. And just some words of encouragement to help you continue on your journey of this healing, of this continual activism that you may have been going through, and to just acknowledge the fact that you are not alone in this, and that there are so many other beautiful souls that connect with you to support all your causes that your heart wants to will in. A part of this movement is also recognizing the collective liberation that we all seek and the community that we all seek in order for this to be accounted for. A part of your joy and soul's mission is to recognize that you are a liberator. Okay. Oh my god, I love this for you. Okay. Your card says it's okay to be afraid, but as much as you can, please try to act from love rather than from fear. I think this is a perfect card for you that comes out, because it's a reminder that through this activism work, through this emotional labor, mental hurdles, spiritual and soul and physical retributions that you're going through, that you continue to act from a place of love, that you continue to love humanity as hard and as much and as strong as you do. Thank you so much, Pile Ones, for being you and for healing an aspect of me that I didn't expect to come out so much throughout this reading. So continue going to those protests, continue posting, continue speaking out against those who are using neutrality and peace to disguise the horrors of this genocide. Continue being you and continue acting from this place of love. I love you so much, my dear Pile Number Ones. You've given me so much hope for what's to come in the future. And may you forever be blessed with the wisdom, grace, compassion that you give to others. Alright, that's all the messages I have for you today. I'm so sorry that I've been so emotional throughout this whole thing, but I think it's just clearly indicative of the heartbreak that we are healing. So until next time, peace and love and free Palestine. Hello, my dear Pile 2s. If you chose this one in heart, as well as the card Uncovering Confidence, and this is your pile. So Divine Source, please tune me into the collective of Pile 2 today, and please let me be the conduit for the messages that are meant to be heard by this collective. Please let it be clear, concise, accurate, compassionate words. Okay. So today we're addressing the question, what you have healed, and then we're going to go through other questions like the good karma you have for doing the work, as well as the energies presently supporting you at this time, as well as words of encouragement that Source Divine would like to give you. Okay, so you've chosen this one in heart, as well as this card Uncovering Confidence. So in terms of what you have healed, it definitely feels like you have healed some aspect of your insecurity. I definitely feel like it involves a more physical appearance aspect, because I'm drawn to my own insecurities of what I have healed, and so it just really signals to me that you might have also been going through a position in life where you have felt like you were not as beautiful as you are, you know? I am the missing piece that completes the puzzle of the universe is at the back of this card. And I think you're definitely coming into a time where you are recognizing how valuable you are and how needed you are in this universe, and what bigger role you do playing you. But let's get some more cards to kind of continue and see what you've healed. So what have my Pile Number 2s healed when it comes to Alright, what has my Pile number two's heal? Did I say one? I meant two. Okay. What has my pile number two healed? What have it healed? Okay. Okay, so you have the Seven of Wands, the Five of Wands, and then the Eight of Pentacles. Wow, I'm really drawn to the fact that this fire is just on this guy's crotch. Yeah, let me just like zoom in for that. I don't know if you can see it, but I think it's just, it's pretty funny. I don't know if you can. Yeah, it's just a great card. Okay, let's continue on. So in terms of what you're healing, or what you have healed already, I guess it feels like you're in the process, because when I'm speaking about it, it definitely feels like you're in the process of healing it. It definitely feels like it has to do with your sexuality and how you're perceived by others, as well as the hard work you do on yourself. So with this Seven of Wands here, paired with the Five of Wands and Eight of Pentacles, it feels like you've been putting a lot of work in regards to how people perceive you, and you've had to fight away any type of disagreements and conflicts and battles that you may have had. You've worked really hard on kind of owning all aspects of yourself. I'm also drawn to the heels of this person. So it definitely feels more like a non-binary energy, and I'm also getting the picture of Bretman Rock. So it feels like you're someone who might be gender fluid, and you have had to kind of face a lot of people and fight for your identity to be seen and recognized and respected. And you've worked really hard in continuing to be who you are and vocalize your needs, vocalize who you are, and being confident in yourself. Because I'm really drawn to the fact that in this Eight of Pentacles, this being has a microphone and is speaking while doing their work. So it feels like you have been doing that. You have consistently been climbing this ladder, whether that be in work, in social arenas, with your family, just in a lot of social environments where you've had to speak up about who you are and your own identity and how it relates to your own sexuality as well. Because I was fiercely drawn to the fire on the crotch area of this person. It definitely feels like you have evaded and intellectually provoked a lot of those around you, and because of that you've brought this kind of new fire, this new aspect, this new life to people who want to who are just trying to fight you for no reason other than the reason that they don't know who they are, like excuse me. Confirmation too that that is a message, is that you have been someone who has been a trailblazer, and that's only because you know who you are. You've stepped into who you are, and you are now very confident. Or you might have been someone who has had the motto fake it till you make it, and now you're at a place where you've made it. And that's what divine source, spirit, God, Allah, omnipotent, whatever you want to call it, that's what the observer wants to really tell you, is that you have been killing the game. You have been putting your blood, sweat, and tears into vocalizing and being who you are. You've been working hard, working real damn hard with this Eight of Pentacles here, because this is the card of hard work, at really owning yourself and connecting with your soul and connecting with your spirit and connecting with the relatedness of nature. You know, there's this beautiful tarot reader, her name is Samantha James, who has this amazing community post of what it means to be spiritual, and how even the word spirituality is co-opted in the Western world to kind of distance an identity to the relatedness of nature. If you have the time, go check it out. If you don't have the time, still check it out, because what her post is just so resonant with what I think will continue to go on in these types of communities. And I think you are at a point where you no longer have to squeeze yourself to be a part of a table that doesn't want you, you know? You are at a point where you're making your own table. You're setting your own table. You're okay with sitting alone. And if not sitting alone, you're okay to find your community that supports you. And you now have the confidence to step into that and to be with those who understand you, where you don't have to continually fight for yourself to be heard. You're just recognized as who you are. So that is what you've healed. It definitely feels very self-love. It definitely feels, as well as the self-love, it definitely feels like you have accepted a part of yourself that society, those around you who have been trying to fight you against because they don't know themselves. Yeah, that's another point that I really wanted to highlight, is the fact that those who have fought you on your own identity, who have tried to squander your identity, are those people who don't know themselves. They are just losers. They are point blank period losers, because they have lost themselves. And I'm saying this in a place of compassion as well, because I have been once a loser. I once did not know who I was. I once had to go through that transition and process of discovering who I am. But the difference is that I've never had to bash others who are themselves, you know. And I feel that way with you as well. Even though you haven't felt lost at times, even though you might have felt like a loser yourself, you have gone and found the way back to your own home, back to your own heart. And these other losers will continue to be losers. And the difference is that they will never find themselves, because they will continue to bash those around them and try to make those around them feel as lost as they are. Because of their own personal insecurities. You know, you might be someone who's super feminist, which I love, because I'm taking on the voice of this other YouTube creator named Manifestelle. She has helped me a lot in terms of recognizing my own voice. So you might resonate a lot with her videos. And the acknowledgement of what it means to be female presenting at a time where the patriarchy is falling. You know, you might be very comfortable with being in both the all the energies. You know, like, yeah. And again, you might be someone who doesn't have to really conform to the binaries of gender that the West always kind of pigeonholes people in. You might be someone who resonates with all genders. For example, I am a lot like this, and in my own my own heritage, the languages that I want to get back into but have been taught, which is Filipino, Tagalog, Ilocano. Those languages don't have binaries in the ways in which it speaks. So in my head, I've never really had to have that kind of dualism. It's just kind of all encompassing, and it definitely feels like how you're presenting and how you're coming across, someone who's just very in tune with who they are and all the sides that you have. You know, you have this confidence about you that you are continually uncovering, and the self-love that people crave, you know. You've worked so hard at continuing to nourish yourself, to continuing to give yourself the proper love, care, and compassion that others may not have given you in the past. You might have been bullied for who you were in the past, but you have continuously stuck to who you are. You might have hidden yourself at times for your own survival needs, for your own protection and your own safety, but I feel like it comes now to a time where you don't have to do that, and you're coming into this place of confidence where you're allowed to be yourself within a new community. There's just this huge strength about you, this huge softness about you that people will want what they don't have, and you have it because you've put in the work, you've gone through the experiences to continue to be who you are, to own who you are, to stand true, stand tall in who you are, because it feels like you're this, it feels like you're this, it feels like you're this, you know? It feels like you're a force to be reckoned with, and no one's gonna fucking tear you down. And we fucking love that for you. Yes. Okay, so let's go into your good karma for putting this work into yourself. And Divine Source, I'm only taking upright cards because this is the deck that does so. And we love this for you. We fucking love this for you. So we have the Two of Cups, as well as the Star, which is what this deck's image is based off of. So when it comes to you, my dear pal number twos, the good karma that you get for doing this hard work and doing the work on yourself is this of love. You will find someone who nurtures you, who gives back to you, who really completes you and makes you feel at home, who makes you feel safe, who makes you feel protective, who makes you feel like you can be your full authentic self without having to fight to be who you are. You know, you're gonna find someone who loves you for exactly who you are. If you're not already in a partnership that is loving and is accepting of who you are, you will find that, and you will find that within another person, within another community. But the Two of Cups usually indicates it of being of a very romantic connection. So you will find someone who really values you and cherishes you and really heals your inner soul, as you do to them, you know, as you do to them as well. As well as there's just so much hope in terms of the Star being here. It just feels like the good karma that you get for doing this work is that you'll find hope again in being yourself and living in this really fucked up world. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This is a fucked up world we live in, you know? Like, there are definitely things that are falling, which are amazing. For example, the patriarchy, for example, colonization and imperialism, for example, classism, all these things are falling. And sorry to get so political about it, but like, it definitely feels like you're gonna be in a space, community-wise, as well as romantically, where someone meets you eye to eye and sees you for your worth, and you're just gonna have so much hope and so much momentum in the future. It feels like you're going to be someone who really trailblazes, who leads the pact and what it means to have a heaven on earth, to live in a society where humanity is fully accepting and loving of those who have had to hide, who have had to be in this survival fight or flight mode, who have had to continuously evade those and continuously had to trailblaze in a time where, you know, sometimes you don't want to be called progressive. You just want the progressiveness to be the norm, you know? Like, it just feels like you're going to be someone who makes the progressive values that you do have a normalcy in society. That is your good karma for taking this hard work and self-compassion for yourself. You will find romantic love if you aren't already in it. If you are already in a romantic connection, you will find that your partner will be more compassionate towards you, will be able to meet you at a level of understanding, of emotional intelligence, of a place where they're going to do the work in order to be with you, you know what I mean? Like, they're going to see your boundaries, they're going to see the things that you want held and respected, and they will healthily make the changes to do so. And it just feels like you'll also just have this new hope for the world to change, and for you to be yourself in this new paradigm, this new creation, this new era that we're all collectively stepping into. Oof, we love that. Okay. Because I said boundaries, I did want to use this deck and I did want to use this card. Alright, so we're just gonna pull out some boundaries that will be respected by your partner, by the world at large, but you know. Alright. Ooh. Alright, so you have the card Reflections and the question, what are your values? So your values, and I love how it's reflections and you see the reflections of like how these two people are reflected. So when it comes to your values and who you are, your partnerships will reflect that. They will reflect what you need. We love that. We fucking love that for you. All right, okay, so let's go to the energies that are presently supporting you at this time. So Divine Source, connect me to my pal lines, energies that are supporting them at this time. So you have Ida B. Wells Renee, activist, journalist, a fearless reporter and anti-lynching crusader. Ida B. Wells Renee founded both the National Association of Colored Women and the Alpha Suffrage Club for African American women. Fighting against racial injustice her entire life, she took enormous risks to wage a relentless campaign against lynching. In 1884, she refused to give up her first-class seat on a train between Memphis and Nashville. Removed by force, she sued and won in the circuit court, but the Tennessee Supreme Court reversed the decision. The incident galvanized her desire to fight for racial inequality, to fight for racial equality, and she became a full-time journalist in 1891. She focused her attention on lynching in 1892 after 3 friends were murdered by a mob in Memphis. Settling first in New York and then in Chicago, she continued to work for civil rights and women's rights until her death in 1931. So you also might be a person of color. Hey, what up? And you might be someone, because there's also, you might be in relationships where you're in an interracial relationship where your partner will do the work in terms of the history that is needed to understand who you are and why you not only behave the way you do, but the reasons in which you have your own moralities and your own fight and your own desire for change, and that's definitely something that is embodied by Ida B. Wells-Bernay here, as this fight for equality and this notion of knowing what's right in the world and not backing down from who she was, just as you are. Okay. And let's move on to another energy that may be supporting you at this time. So, divine source, what other energies are supporting you? Oh, thank you. Aww. I love this for you. You also have the white buffalo woman, peace. Yeah, okay, I'll do that. So yes, let's get a little description of this, because we love to see. All right, so listening to the story of how White Buffalo Woman came to the Native American Lakota tribe, we might think she heralded war rather than peace. A proud and beautiful young goddess, her first appearance among men was an eventful one. The chief of the Lakota tribe was trying to lead his people through a time of great famine. The buffalo had deserted them, and no rain had fallen in some time. He decided to send out 2 strong scouts to look for food. As they traveled through difficult country, they found little. They kept going, and as they walked, they saw a lovely woman in shining white upon the horizon. One of the scouts immediately told his companion that if she were as beautiful close up as she appeared to be, he would seize her and make her his wife. The other scout thought the woman looked otherworldly and perhaps was a secret being. He shared his opinion with his friend and warned him against offending the young woman. Ignoring the advice, the first scout tried to hug and kiss the woman, and a thick white fog enfolded the two of them. Soon the cloud dispersed, and only the woman remained standing next to the first scout's bones. The second scout was terrified and drew his bow in defense. However, the young woman soothed him and told him there was nothing to fear. She introduced herself as Tessan Lee, which means White Buffalo Calf Woman, and assured him that if the Lakota did all that she asked, they would have a better, more prosperous, and more peaceful life. White Buffalo Woman taught the Lakota the right way to live and worship. She also introduced them to the sacred pipe, the Chanunumpa, and the profound ritual that accompanies it. Should White Buffalo Woman walk into your life, she is urging you to begin to develop processes and rituals to bring peace into your life. Peace of mind matters. Without it, we do not function at our best. Peace permeates all things, not just peace between people, but between people and earth and its creatures. It may be time to deal with a certain person more peacefully, or act in a calmer manner, or simply listen rather than speak. Yeah, so it feels like at this time, the current energy supporting you is one that, although you've had to fight so much to be heard and understood in your life, it is coming to a time where you can now go about your identity in peace, and you can make yourself heard in a peaceful manner, and you no longer will have to really fight and like, it's not like you can't fight, you will always have that warrior spirit, you will always have that warrior divine, you will always have the experiences of being that warrior in your past to back you up in case others are disrespectful towards you. It definitely feels like now you'll still have that in your pocket if you need it, But with the new partnerships that you will be having in the future, as well as the new communities that you will be in, you will no longer have to have that knee-jerk reaction towards fighting. You will be able to present your case, present yourself, present your identity and your beliefs in a very peaceful and a calm manner. And you'll probably be able to become someone, a voice for these issues. Yeah. Okay. Before my camera cuts. Okay. All right. So, last but not least, let's get some words of encouragement, praise for all the work that you've done, all the healing that you've done. So proud of you, my pal number 2. Divine Source is so fucking proud of you. Like, you're just coming into a time of not having to fight to be heard. You'll just be heard, and people respect you because that's just the right thing to do, you know? So yeah, you might be someone who, again, has been ostracized, whether that be for your sexuality, for the color of your skin, for your beliefs, for your class, for your gender, and the way you present yourself, your identity as a whole. You know, you might have been ostracized because of that in certain circles that were not accepting, but now you do not have to be in those circles, you know? You have healed yourself to the point where you can be in spaces where you're loved and revered and honored for who you are. Yeah, all right. Okay, so last message for my pal number 2s here. It is always so hard for me to shuffle this deck because it's so damn big. But if I can just get one card out of this. Okay. Oh my god, we love this for you. Oh my god. And this card says, you are a whole person. You are complete. Let me see if I can recenter this so that you can see it better. Yeah, if you want to screenshot that, just to remind yourself that you are a whole person and you are complete. I think that just fully just encapsulates this reading, and it fully ties this whole reading together in terms of the sigh of relief that you can take now that you have given yourself so much love and put in so much work towards uncovering yourself and being confident in who you are and recognizing you are a complete and whole person. Whew. We love that for you, pal, too. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for stopping by, having a chat, and just being here for yourself as well, and healing yourself throughout this whole thing. Yeah. Love you so much. Take care, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye for now. Hey, pal 3. If you've chosen this Golden Healer's Quartz, as well as integrating the ego, this is your pal. Alright. So, we're asking today, what have you healed in honor of all of the work you've done, and how proud you should be of yourself, as well as how proud Divine Source is of you. Apologies, that's just a tractor with a bunch of hay bales going around. So let's get into your messages today. So we'll be asking, what have you healed, the good karma you have for healing yourself, energy that's presently supporting you, and the words of encouragement. So with integrating the ego, it definitely feels like obviously you have healed the aspects of all of yourself, and you made friends with your demons. You made friends with your demons as well as yourself, your identity, your ego, and you've recognized that you no longer have to demonize your ego, you no longer have to put it aside, you no longer have to feel like it is a bad or shameful part of you, and you recognize its protective aspects and qualities and the experiences you have because of your healing. And I know in the spiritual community it's quite often that we say that the ego is a bad thing, but I particularly don't subscribe to that method. Thank you. I subscribe more to the understanding that the ego is a part of you, and the ego is, this is probably something you subscribe to as well, that the ego is, when in balance, a very protective and a very healthy and a very integral part of ourselves, of understanding who we are, our experiences, our day-to-day, how we can behave and act, and it gives us more control over our reactions and the ways in which we can move about the world. All right, let's get more messages for you. So, what has my pile of threes healed? What has my pile of threes healed? You have the Four of Wands. Oof, you also have everything is for me and not against me. Let me see if I can just focus in on it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so everything is for me and not against me. I definitely resonate with this pile. And it takes me a couple of seconds to do these videos. Sometimes it takes me a couple of days because I find that these readings are also a reflection of myself. So anyways, not to make it about me, but I definitely resonate in terms of understanding how, when it comes to the ego, it sometimes feels like everything and everyone is against you. And it can feel like the whole world's against you. Like you don't have no one on your team, no one on your side, no one that understands you. And particularly with this Four of Wands, the Four of Wands usually indicates like a twin flame, if you subscribe to that kind of language, or it can just indicate a soulmate, a partner, a life partner, someone that you care deeply about romantically. And in this particular card, it definitely feels like a celebration, and it definitely feels more communal. So it definitely feels like you might have had to heal a part of you in relation to others, especially, and you might have had your ego come out and protect you in some ways in which you might need or have had already done the healing and reflection upon. For example, you might have used anger as a emotion to help protect you from those that have hurt you, who have crossed your boundaries, who have made you feel as if you cannot be safe. And you have finally moved past that to recognize that it's not a shameful thing for these things to happen. you might have recognized your coping mechanisms in which to manage your anger, especially because it is a Wands card and it deals with the fiery emotions that are harder to control. Not to say that water emotions and cups emotions are easy, but it is definitely a more chaotic, I find, chaotic version of emoting. And it takes a lot of intuition, it takes a lot of balance, it takes a lot of strength. And that's really indicated here by the Four of Wands. And there's a part of you that is super celebratory right now because of how much work you've done on yourself and how much you have healed yourself. And you're probably going through times right now in your meditation, on your walks, randomly when you're at school, at work, at home, where all these things might come up, all these past wounds, past hurts, betrayals, things that have what's the word? That have crossed your boundaries. Turmoils that have really shown you a different side to yourself. Alright. For Golden Healer. Golden healers are true ascension stones, raising the vibrational frequency of the entire chakra system and promoting a higher energy signature throughout the body, mind, and aura. It's a very small card, so. But yeah, it feels like you have integrated all parts of yourself to be yourself, and you are finally relinquishing the old patterns that you once had and you used to use in survival mode, and you're forgiving those times and recognizing that you can move forward and understand that your ego is there to protect you and that you have control over your ego. All right, what else have my pile 3 healed? What have my pile? You have the 3 of Pentacles as well. Which is interesting. The 3 of Pentacles is always a card that connotes, to me personally, the workplace, people around you, community. You might have had someone who was looking over your shoulder at a lot of the times. You might have put someone on a pedestal as well, and now you might have put a part of yourself on a pedestal too, and you're recognizing that everyone's human, everyone makes mistakes, and even yourself, you make mistakes, and that's okay. It feels like you've let go of this perfectionist aspect of yourself, and you realize that you are a part of the whole world. I'm being called to the Tibetan book of yoga or dream yoga, where there's an idea that your dreams are a reflection of your reality, and those two are one and the same, you know? And you might be someone who has been frequently having nightmares or chasing dreams, anxious dreams, dreams that make you wake up in a panic. I've personally been going through that as well. But recognizing that you are clearing out a lot of the past trauma, past hurt that you've been through, and you're finally in a healthy enough space for you to process all the turmoil that is gone in your life. I wanted to use a more crass word, but I think turmoil suits it best. Yeah, it feels like you've had a lot of nights where you might have been crying, or you have had nights where you weren't allowed to cry. And now you are in a healthy enough space where you can finally emote and release. And that's something to celebrate. This Four of Wands is in fire and in water. This fire is it's in a pond of water. So it really feels like you have mastered your emotions. And sometimes you might feel like you're alone in this world, but I think a part of you recognizes that you aren't. And that even when the bad shit hits, when shit hits the fan, it is a lesson to learn. And I know that's so hard to hear, because like whenever I watch readings and they're like, oh, well, you wanted this to happen. You wanted this shitty thing to happen in your life. I'm just sitting there like, no, I didn't. And sometimes that's a factor of my own ego protecting me, being like, no, I didn't deserve this. And you're right. You are 100% right in recognizing that you do not deserve the shit that was thrown your way. You're probably a light worker, a healer, a starseed. You are probably one of the girlies, and I say girlies in a very non-binary way. You're probably one of the girlies who are super sweet, super kind, super nice, and you have learned that integrating the part of your ego has protected you from a lot of people who have taken advantage of you. You've probably been someone who's a people pleaser in the past, and you're recognizing that it's okay to put up your boundaries. You might have been living in a survival state where people in power, those around you who have had immense influence over your survival, have told you that it's not okay to emote. And you're finally in a position where you're no longer around those people, or they no longer exude that power over you. And it's a very celebratory thing for you. And I feel like especially in love, you might have had romantic partners that have taken advantage of your kindness. And so you've had to integrate this part of yourself, your ego, into this. And this part of these romantic partners who might have been gaslighters on the narcissistic spectrum, because we all are on a narcissistic spectrum, who might have been not the kindest to you. You have risen against that and recognized the lesson that it is, that it showed you that it's not okay for this to happen to you. Your buttons might have been pushed for you to recognize your own value, your own worth. And I'm still very sorry for you to have to experience all this hardship for you to get here. Growing pains are really hard. But you've come out of it, and you are recognizing how much more whole you are because of it. You're recognizing the fact that you can make friends with your demons. You don't have to fight your demons. You don't have to be in survival mode trying to escape your demons. You don't even have to fawn over your demons and let them take control. You have control over all parts of yourself. And again, if you've been to my channel before, you know that when I speak of demons, it's never in a positive or negative light. It's in a very neutral sense, because demons, if you look it up, they're really just spirits. They're a related part of us that comes through to show us something about ourselves. And being able to make friends with your demons, shake hands with them, and say, hey, I see you for who you are, but we don't have to act out in this way, is something that is so powerful, so healing. Being able to look your demons in the face, stand up tall, and take control over your life is something that most cannot do. So for that, please pat yourself on the back and be proud of yourself for all that hard work you have healed, continuously healing. That is a source, that's a message from Source Divine that really wants to come through. Okay, let's move on to the question of the good karma you have for doing this work. And Divine Source, I'm only taking upright cards because this is what the deck calls for. Thank you. I like how it flips. You saw it on camera. So we have the Chariot, and we also have the Seven of Wands. I'm gonna take 2 more cards just to get a clear picture of it. If that is okay, thank you. Oh, that's 3 cards. No, why not? Why not? Let's take the 3. Why not? Okay. So you have the Chariot, the Seven of Wands, the Queen of Swords, the 3 of Coins, and then the 7 of Coins. I love how you have the 3 of Coins come up twice, so that's a very important message for you. Alright. Yeah, and you see how different these 3 of Coins are. And this one, it looks like someone's talking behind their back. It looks like there's a pedestal being put up on. But in this deck, it feels like there's a lot of collaboration. And that is what the 3 of Coins is intentionally for, collaboration. Especially in regards to the workplace. But within this deck, again, different decks kind of convey different messages, right? So it really feels like you've now gained momentum to move forward, and the fights that you used to have are something that you can handle. And there's a lot of eye imagery, so there's a lot of intuitive power that you now have, a lot of third eye decalcification that you've done. You know, look how strong and confident she is. She has her hand on her waist. She means business. She means attitude. Like, look at her face. Her expression is all for charging and taking up the sword and fighting for what's right. You know, and because of that, it feels like you can finally go into spaces of community and watch it grow. You can watch these seeds grow. The stuff that you've planted, you can harvest and reap the benefits from, because you've planted the seeds of recognizing your wholeness, your worth, all of your emotions. You've planted the seeds of healing and of really doing the work in order for you to integrate all parts of yourself. By integrating the ego, it feels like your body, mind, and soul. It feels like your ego, superego, and your id. It feels like your heart, mind, and gut, all these 3 things are working in your favor, working for you, not against you. You now know how to fight in a just way, and in a way where you're very confident of wielding the sword. And usually that the swords are indicative of communication. So it feels like you have a momentum of clearing away anything that doesn't serve you and communicating your boundaries in a very healthy way. With these cloud energy, it feels like you have now unmasked things that used to be foggy to you. You might have had a confusing time recognizing why your emotions were there before, but now you have really integrated yourself into realizing why they're there. It feels like you've gone past a stage of where you might have used to gaslight your own self or have others gaslight you, and you are standing strong and standing tall and recognizing where your emotions come from, and you no longer villainize it. With the Seven of Wands, you see that it's just the wands, there's no one there to fight. So it really feels like you fought a lot of your past wounds and you have healed it, and you no longer have to fight, you know? You no longer, like, you can be in defense stance and you know how to defend yourself. And you know how to set your boundaries. And because of that, you can watch yourself grow. You can move forward in what you're meant to do, what you want to do, what your manifestations are. You know, it feels like you've cleared this path so that it allows more things to come to you, things that you've always wanted to come to you. All right, speaking of boundaries, let's get some boundaries cards for you. All right, what boundaries? Ooh, okay. What boundaries have you set? You have, what do you notice going on in your body when someone violates your boundaries? That was the word I was looking for, violates. You also have, what are your deal breakers? So especially in regards to love, this feels like these are good questions to ask yourself. Even within yourself, like within any relationship that you have, I think these are two questions that you ask yourself now when moving forward. You no longer accept things that you might have in the past. You no longer abandon yourself for someone else. If you have deal breakers, you say, okay, well, if that's the case, goodbye. You know, I'm shown the scene in She's the Man with Amanda Bynes, where she like goes up against her boyfriend at the time, who's the soccer captain, and she's like and he's like, end of discussion, and then like Amanda Bynes is like, well, end of relationship. and that's how it feels for you. It feels like you're no longer tolerating these broke ass people and allowing them in your space. Apologies, my camera just cut off. Yeah, it really feels like you're no longer tolerating that. You're no longer tolerating these broken people into your life to hurt you. You're really not. And you feel it. You feel it in your body now. You feel when the anger arises. You feel your blood boil. You feel when your muscles tighten up, and when you have to feel like you're scrunching to protect yourself and keeping yourself in. And when you notice that in your body, you're no longer reacting. You're just taking notice of it, and you're letting it signal to you what is not right for you, which we love. We love that for you. We love that for you. Okay. We're going to get energies that are presently supporting you at this time. All right. What energies are presently supporting my pile 3? What energies are presently supporting my pile 3s? Okay. You have Emmeline Pankhurst. She was a suffragist from 1858 to 1928. Raised in a progressive household in England, Emmeline Golding attended her first women's suffrage meeting at the age of 14, at the end of which she considered herself a conscious and confirmed suffragist. She found a kindred spirit in radical lawyer Dr. Richard Madison Pankhurst, and they married in 1879. Frustrated that reasonable appeals to members of parliament had yielded meager results, Pankhurst committed to militant tactics with the founding of 1903 of the Women's Political and Social Union. When rallies and protests outside of Parliament failed to spark change, members of the group became violent, breaking windows, setting fires, and destroying property. Pankhurst and other members were arrested repeatedly, and she threatened physical violence when guards attempted to force-feed her during a hunger strike in 1912. She died only a few weeks before passage of the Representation of the People Act in 1928, which ensured the vote for all British women. Oh, damn. And I think the card is really suiting, because you're recognizing in your bouts of anger where you might have done a bit more radical things. You might have yelled, you might have broken things, you might have set fires. No, I'm kidding, don't be an arsonist. But like figuratively, you have raised hell for good reason. And you're recognizing that that's okay. Like it's totally okay for you to do that, because you're forgiving yourselves for all the moments in which you might have felt bad, you might have apologized for your actions, you are a conscious soul, so you recognize when you do make a mistake, and sometimes you might have so much empathy towards someone else that you backtrack on what happened. But I think that was you in the past. Now you recognize that those were very needed, might have been quite extraordinary moments, pivotal moments in your life where you put your foot down, and you needed to put your foot down. You needed to yell, you needed to break things, because people weren't listening to you, and they didn't have the emotional intelligence or capacity to. So you did what you needed to do to survive, to get your rights, to be heard, And that's the energies fully supporting you right now. We're gonna get one more energy. We're gonna get a beautiful goddess, as well as this beautiful goddess. Just to see what energies are supporting my pile 3s at this time. What energies are supporting my pile 3s at this time? Divine Source. What energies are supporting my pile 3s at this time? Thank you. You have Nui, expansiveness. I've never actually gotten this card yet, so it's fun to have a first time for everything. Alright, it's time to think big. You are a star in your own right. There are unlimited possibilities. It is fine not to know every detail before proceeding. Mystery is a natural part of life. Nui's energy is as wide as the sky, as big as the universe, and as bright as a star. Within the Egyptian pantheon, Nui played the role of a sky goddess. The celestial heavens were her body, and below her, in a mirror image, lay her brother, the earth god Geb. That's interesting. This is the first time I've ever heard in spiritual lore, as I like to call it, where the sky was represented by the female, and the earth was represented by the male. So the infinite sky and the sparkling stars above are the expressions of the nature of Nui. The ideas of wonder and limited possibility, infinity, and the eternity of life are all mysteries of the Nui. Ancient Egyptians believed that when one died, the body rested in her energy, and thus they often painted her image on the lids of sarcophagi. Death is, in fact, a part of rebirth for Egyptians, and Nui was also a mother. She gave birth to Isis, Osiris, Set, and Horus. The sun god Ra was born from her star-strewn body every morning, and then swallowed against at sunset. Nui invites us to share the infinite and expand accordingly. Her flowing energy suggests to us that there's nothing we can't do and encourages us to embrace big possibilities. While many of us are fearful to expand and to take risks in that growth, Nui encourages traveling forward with a strong intention anyway. When you are feeling small, when you're feeling stuck in the tiny details, when you feel that there's no place in the world for you, Nui is the perfect goddess to help you find relief. Nui encourages us to think big and to set positive intentions for our growth. Nui also offers comfort to those who have felt that they have to have all the answers all the time, which can be exhausting on so many levels. None of us is perfect. None of us knows everything, and it's unfair to put that type of pressure on ourselves. Not knowing actually leads to growth too. Nui champions the idea that there are some things that should stay unexplained due to the beauty of mystery. Oh, I think this is the perfect card, perfect goddess to implicate the energies that are presently supporting you. There's this expansiveness that you are having on yourself, incorporating your identity of yourself in this life because you have healed this part, recognizing that you are someone who doesn't have to know everything. You don't have to be perfect all the time. You know, I'm a Virgo myself, so like I also have my North Node in Virgo and like my Mercury in Virgo. It's like my Sun's in Virgo. Like, oh my God, it's like I can definitely resonate heavily with the perfectionist aspects and letting that go in order to recognize I'm human. And as are you recognize that you don't have to be perfect all the time. This perfect ideal is something that's not needed, because for your expansion and growth, sometimes you need a bit of mystery, a bit of the unknowing. Because if you knew everything, life would be a little bit boring now, wouldn't it? Okay, I think that was a perfect card to represent you. And last but not least, let's just get some words of encouragement and praise for all the work that you've done. Alright, Divine Source, please let me have some words of encouragement for my pile number 3s and all the work that they've done. Man, it's always really hard for me to shuffle this. So I'm just gonna pull out the card. Aww. It's your awareness that makes you wonderful. Oh, we love that. You know, you might have been shamed for being yourself, which we talked about earlier. You might have been someone who was not allowed to emote due to the circumstances of survival that you were put in. But now you're in this space where you recognize that all your little quirks, all your little weirdnesses, all these little aspects of you are you. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. Something to be celebrated. Something to integrate, something to grow and harvest and reap the benefits of. And you have that momentum to do so. Oh yeah, okay. Well, thank you so much, Pile 3s, for joining me for your reading. Thank you for being you and doing the work and healing this aspect of yourself, because I know it's not easy work. So be proud of yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back, you know, buy yourself a little gift. You know, treat yourself, you know, to something that you like, because you really deserve it. And I hope you have a wonderful day, night, or evening. Love you so much. Bye. Hi, Pile 4s. If you've chosen this honey calcite, as well as this card of rewiring the nervous system, then this is your pile. So today we're asking the question of what you have healed, just in honor of all the work that you've done. And usually whenever I look at a lot of tarot readings on YouTube, it's stuff like, oh, what do you need to heal? What is something something you don't know that you need to heal, or something along the lines of that. But I wanted to make sure that there is at least one video that has to show that you have healed and you have done the work, and you should be proud of it. I think that's something the community needs, just a reminder of how far they've come, how far you've come, and how proud you should be of yourself. Yeah. Okay. So with the first question of what have you healed, you have rewiring the nervous system. So that's a lot of work. That is a lot of work to rewire the nervous system, to kind of sit with yourself and recognize things and patterns of the past, and rewire it so you're not triggered by the same things. That takes a lot of courage, strength, vulnerability, and emotional intelligence. And you have the saying, I find strength in surviving my traumas. And I don't want to over-romanticize traumas, because that's something that really pisses me off sometimes, especially in the spiritual community. I understand the sentiments of it, but sometimes that's not exactly what you need to hear. So in regards to that saying, it feels like you've taken a lot of the things that has happened to you in the past, and you have found the lessons in which you recognize why they came into your life. Not that you deserved any of it. You did not deserve any of it. I don't really care if you had a soul contract that said you must go through. You probably didn't care either. You probably did not. If you had the choice, you probably would not have gone through all that bullshit. But recognizing that you did, and you've survived, and then you've come out of that in a way where you no longer are the same person, where you no longer are triggered by the same things. I think you have understood how much that those traumas have shown your insecurities, have shown past parts of you that you might have not recognized if otherwise, and in ways to move past it, to move beyond it, to see them as the lessons they are. And you've taken those really traumatic experiences, and you have really come into yourself, and you have shed a lot of the aspects of yourself that that might have been holding you back, that you no longer resonate with. And it's not to shame those parts of yourself, because those parts of yourself were there for you to survive. This definitely feels like a continuation of pile 3, because in pile 3 we talk about a lot of the similar aspects of surviving trauma, and not romanticizing it, but seeing it for what it is, and having compassion towards yourself for surviving and for getting through it. And for this pile specifically, it's for changing it. It's for really changing it, to see that you no longer have to behave in ways in which you might have before. You have found safety within yourself, safety within your body, for you to comfort yourself, and you no longer have this codependency on others. That's how it feels. You no longer have this codependency on others. Okay, let's get more messages. So what has my pile number 4 healed? What has my pile number 4's healed? And the 9 of Wands. If I can have a couple more cards. Oh, okay, thanks. You have the World and then the King of Wands in reverse. Ooh, we love the World. Oh, yeah. I don't know if it picks up the imagery, but like, you know, I don't think I have a big enough following for me to be flagged on YouTube yet, so we're just gonna leave it as is. Yeah. Okay. Okay. We're gonna read it from left to right, even though I am someone who reads from like right to left. That's how I was taught. But today just feels like I need to read it this way. So it feels like you really integrated there's a lot of triangles. So it feels like you really integrated all parts of yourself, your mind, body, soul. Again, this really feels like a continuation of pile 3, so you might have just stayed on the video, and if so, hello. But it really feels like you have healed all aspects of yourself: mind, body, soul, gut, heart, minds, ego, superego, id, whatever you like to resonate with. It feels like you have really strengthened yourself and you have become a version of you that is unbreakable. And it feels like you are someone who can really stand tall, stand true in your power. And there's a sort of momentum of you handling reactions that you might have had in the past. With the World card here, the World being the last card of the major arcana, also being a beautiful card that aspects the different sides to humanity, in different aspects of the fixed signs. Yeah. Oh my god, that's so interesting. So in this deck, you see the bull for Taurus, the lion for the Leo, the eagle for the Scorpio, but you also have the human for Aquarius, and both of them, like both the eagle and the human, have angel eyes. So it feels like you've kind of stepped into your purpose, because this kind of indicates to me of the throne angels, who in biblical sense are those that guide purpose, guide direction. They are the thrones in which God sits on to move in life. And again, you don't have to be Christian to subscribe to this. I'm not Christian, you know, but I do like to study a lot of religious lore, so I can get the symbology and the deeper meanings of a lot of the spiritual aspects, because usually they all intermingle. But anyway, so what I'm trying to say is that it really feels like you've stepped into your purpose, that you've stepped into a whole being of yours that really recognizes you for who you are and really enjoys that, and that you now have prominent boundaries and you now protect your space very very jolly, especially because in the world, let me just cover her body, I'm sorry. In the world, you see the helix health symbol of the two snakes coiled up. That symbolizes, I forget which god or angelus is, but it symbolizes, I know that a lot of current medical buildings have this symbol on it to symbolize health. So it definitely feels like you're someone who obviously has healed this part of you. That's the whole point of the reading. I'm sorry. That's just me. But it definitely feels like you have the power to heal yourself, and you recognize how different aspects of you play into your own physical health, and how different parts like your emotional health, your psychological well-being, your spiritual health are very important aspects, and how they relate to your physical being as a whole. It definitely feels like you've integrated a part of you that casts spells. You might be a witch, but you might cast energy onto you. You might do Reiki healing on yourself. You might do Vipassana meditation. If so, what up? That's the practice I like to do. You might, again, do spell practices to heal yourself. You might use food to heal yourself as well. You might go to the gym and make sure you have regimens and routines to properly maintain your body. And because of it, there is a lot of people that look up to you, a lot of people that see you and your worth just as you see yourself and your worth, and you only allow people who really respect that to be in your circle. For example, with this King of Wands in reverse, it feels like you no longer listen to the patriarchal authorities of the world. You no longer subscribe. You're no longer a pick-me-sha or a pick-me-girl if you don't watch Manifestel. But yeah, you're someone who recognizes the destruction that the patriarchy has caused, and the hurt and pain and the trauma that is inflicted upon the world, and you no longer subscribe to those, and so you keep yourself protective. You see how this woman is looking towards the side. It really feels like with this Knight of Wands, you are allowing the new kind of form of a healthy version of the masculine to come out. Those that are protective, those who will fight for you, those who recognize your strength, your wisdom, and the life that you bring. And you only allow those people into your space. You do not allow those who try to control, who wield power for their own gain, who use aggression and brutality in disguise of protection in order to control you. You no longer subscribe to that. Those are the people you say no to. That's who the people you look away from. You now are very much into this healthy masculine, whether that be within your relationships or even within the way you are within yourself, and recognizing that you've healed this part of yourself that allows you the space for growth, that allows you the space for receiving as well. Usually the Knight of Wands gets a really bad rep in the spiritual community as being a fuckboy. But, you can take it as it is. I personally like to take it as a form of growth, of allowance for growth, because the Knight still has a lot to learn. The Knight, I find, is a more protective energy than the King, because the King has, looks out for him and him alone. An unhealthy King as well, because this is in reverse. But the Knight in upright kind of signals to me in this reading that this is a more healthy version of a masculine, of a young masculine, of being allowed to have the room and space to be and to protect when necessary, and for that to be to stand up when necessary. I'm also getting the image of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. I don't really follow it, like, their relationship too much, but I definitely do like the symbology in culture that they represent. Travis Kelce is a healthy masculine who opens doors for Taylor Swift. He supports her and her whole being, you know, respects her business, respects her time, respects her space. And then so she's allowed to do the same, you know? And I think it's a wonderful thing to see a healthy form of a relationship where the feminine is valued and is honored, and where the masculine is valued and is honored. There's such a balance and reciprocity that is very rare that we see in cultural media, especially in celebrity relationship statuses. So I think it's a very like telling tale of the signs, especially because so many people follow that relationship as well. I think a lot of people out there are recognizing that you don't have to operate in a very unhealthy patriarchal way. You can operate in a very healthy, egalitarian, dare I say feminist way of being, you know? And feminist is for everybody. A good feminist would know that. Feminism doesn't exclude the men. Feminism actually empowers the men. It empowers everybody to recognize who they are, and allowing that feminine aspect, that masculine aspect, the non-binary aspect to coexist, for everyone to have rights and to be uplifted and congratulated, for everyone to recognize that they are allowed to be in these spaces and to be celebrated for being in those spaces. It feels like you no longer have to fight for a seat at the table. You have created your own table. And you only allow people who have that kind of same values as you to enter your system, especially because of how much work you have done on yourself, on your whole being. Again, you might have been someone who has gone through a lot of emotional, sexual abuse because of choosing this honey calcite. Honey calcite is used to clear those blockages. That is particularly why I got the honey calcite in the first place. Let me see if I can find there it is. Alright. So honey calcite is a stone of joy, collector of positive energy, simulates one to break out of old patterns and take new directions in life. It helps overcome fear and improve sense of self-worth. It can help remove restrictive patterns caused by sexual or emotional abuse. And that definitely feels like you. It feels like you're someone who has removed these patterns, and you might have gone through these very triggering experiences to recognize your sense of self-worth, recognize the patterns, the old patriarchal patterns that might have been influencing your life, and recognizing that you do not have to subscribe to that. Yeah, okay. I've been channeling for a long time. Let's move on to the next question, because we're already at 20 minutes. I didn't expect it to be this long. So what is the good karma you have for healing? I'm only taking upright. Thank you, Divine Source. So you have the 2 of coins. You have the 5 of coins. And you have the 8 of cups. So yeah. And we are reading it again from left to right. So it feels like you walked away from something that was no longer serving you. And the good karma you have is basically being able to, wow, also if you kind of look at these two like sequentially, it looks like they're coming from the same like light source. So it feels like there has been a protective energy guiding you, a protective energy like the hand of God, who has been showing you a different way of what to be. And again, you don't have to subscribe to the hand of God. It could just be the divine source, which I like to personally use that terminology because of the non-binary aspects to it. But yeah, it feels like you have walked away from something that was no longer serving you, which is patriarchal bullshit. And you have taken the time to heal. You might have felt like you were cast out. You might have felt alone. You might have felt down and out because of feeling ostracized by that part of society. But you've taken the time to heal, and because of that, you have balanced yourself out. You have a companion that you know and trust. You've kind of become your own best friend in that way. And because I'm hearing like Yes and by Ariana Grande, sorry. Yeah. And being drawn to this Dalmatian image, it definitely feels like you've become your own best friend, and you are someone who can balance all aspects of you, and someone who can handle, like, it's not just like she's balancing these two coins, she's also like walking this dog, you know, like, you know, it feels like you really mastered different elements of yourself. The instinctive, the intuitive, the conscious, the subconscious, and the conscious, you know? And the good karma you get for doing all that healing is being a master of it, not having to deal with a lot of this bullshit. You no longer have to play by those rules. You no longer have to feel shunned or outcasted, or you don't have to be in the coldness of that patriarchal presence. You can experience the joy of life. You can experience having yourself as a best friend, and if not, having other people around you that might be a best friend. You might have adopted a pet recently, you know. You might have found companionship in other matters, and things that will emotionally serve you. And that is the gift, the good karma that you were granted. This ability to manage and uphold and be your own best friend. You know, it's conquering this loneliness you might have felt before, which is absolutely wonderful. And that's some hard ass work, you know? Like, so go you. So proud of you. We're also gonna pull boundary cards that you might have put in. So what boundaries has my pile fours? What boundaries have my pile fours put up? Okay. What obligations would you leave behind if you wouldn't experience negative consequences for doing so? Pairs so well with this Eight of Cups. What energizes you the most? And what behaviors are you tolerating from others that aren't healthy? It definitely feels like you had some time to really leave behind negative experiences had time to really process those experiences and figured out what energized you in life, what gets you out of bed in the morning, you know? These are the boundaries you've set in your life. You've left behind the negative experiences, the things, the obligations of what you might have had in the past. And you've processed what has been done to you. So you know how to go about experiences in the future with your relationships, especially. You no longer tolerate bad behaviors that don't serve you, behaviors that make you abandon yourself, behaviors that gaslight you, behaviors that don't honor you, that disrespect you. You no longer do that. You step into this new boundary of understanding who you are and what gets you out of bed, what makes you feel joyful in life, what makes you happy in life. Okay. So what energies are presently supporting my paddle force? What energies are presently supporting my paddle force? Nice. Okay, I think we got this card in the last one too, but yeah, we have Ida B. Wells Renee. She's an activist and journalist. A fearless reporter and anti-lynching crusader, Ida B. Wells Renee founded both the National Association of Colored Women and the Alpha Suffrage Club for African American Women. Fighting against racial injustice her entire life, she took enormous risks to wage a relentless campaign against lynching. In 1884, she refused to give up her first-class seat on a train between Memphis and Nashville. Removed by force, she sued and won in the circuit court, but the Tennessee Supreme Court reversed the decision. The incident galvanized her desire to fight for racial inequality, and she became a full-time journalist in 1891. She focused her attention on lynching in 1892 after 3 friends were murdered by a mob in Memphis. Settling first in New York and then in Chicago, she continued to work for her civil rights and women's rights until her death in 1931. Definitely goes along with a lot of rhetoric that we've been saying so far, especially in regards to fighting for your rights. And I feel like you've also been fighting for your voice to be heard as well, with Ida B. Wells Renee coming up, you know, and any adversaries that would come to you, it would only fuel yourself into leaving those scenarios and fighting for what's right. You also have Ida Tarbell. Her name might be Ida. Having 2 Ida cards. Or you might know someone named Ida, I don't know. But like, it's interesting that both Idas came out. So Ida Tarbell was an investigative journalist. She's best remembered for the series of articles she wrote on the Stanford Oil Trust for McClure's magazine, published in the book form in 1904, in which she exposed blackmail, price rigging, and other illegal practices by the company that controlled 90% of the nation's petroleum supply at the time. The article not only led to the dissolution of Standard Oil under the Sherman Antitrust Act, but also helped shape the emerging trend of investigative journalism known as muckraking. Tarbell, a biographer and historian by training, continued to pursue historical work as associate editor for McClure's. After the Standard Oil expose, she joined Lincoln Steffens and others in purchasing and running American Magazine. Despite her popular image as a crusader, Tarbell strove for even-handedness and considered herself fundamentally a friend of business. So it feels like strategically, you know how to play your cards right. You know what I mean? Like, you're someone who uses your voice in a way in which you can further expose the hypocrisies around you, expose the abusers around you. It felt like when you left a scenario, you exposed some people other people might have held in high regard, you know, and that's like something that you might have felt like you had to be cast out of, because it might have felt like you were just dealing with all these people who had this fucked up patriarchal mentality, and who didn't honor you, and you kind of exposed all of them when you left, and when you like said no, and you healed from this trauma. You know, it definitely feels like there's a recognition of that by a larger community for you. Okay, and any other goddesses that are energies presently supporting my dear pile number boys? What energies are presently supporting my pile number boys? Thank you. Oh, you have Kali fear. It is time to overcome your fears. You're protected as you clear the negatives within your shadow side. Do not be afraid of transition. Express your fears safely. The goddess moves her lean body forward, screaming a challenge. Each of her many arms holds a sharp weapon, and blood flows from the tips. Her neck is ringed with skulls, and her skirt is made from the body parts of her enemies. Amulets swing from her body, making a whistling sound. Her hair flows wildly behind her, tinged with fire, and her skin is covered in gray ash. The drums beat, and her devotees chant, Kali, Kali, Kali. Scared? Exactly. That is what the amazing goddess is all about. Fear. The Hindu goddess Kali is fearsome, yet has a powerful maternal aspect of protection. She invokes fear in many who do not understand her nature, but those who do understand it welcome her. It's this fierceness, this extreme force of nature that helps us overcome our fears, move forward, cut through our obstacles, and slay our personal demons. We'll slay. Kali helps us deal with our fears and our fear-based things that haunt us, such as jealousy, pride, and unhealthy anger. She breaks down the illusions of ego and kills the shadow that do not support or serve us any longer, freeing our true selves. In this way, she expresses her tough love for us. Kali can help you negotiate transitions, in particular ones that you are hesitant to make, like having a difficult conversation with someone, breaking up, or even explaining to someone that you are going to follow your own path, which means no longer following that person's. Remember, while most of Kali's hands contain a weapon, one does not. It shows a peaceful, placiding gesture, a signal of her true love for us. You know, tough love is sometimes necessary, and it feels like you have rewired yourself to recognize where some of your fears have come from, as well as how you have used your voice in order to give tough love to those around you. You know, like, and it doesn't always mean like you have to say anything. You might have just walked away from a situation, and because of that tough love, because of that act, it really showed others like what is not right, what boundaries you have, and how you're no longer going to be taken advantage of for having those boundaries. Yeah. All right, okay, so last but not least, we're gonna do words of encouragement. Tasha, praise for all the work that you have done. All right, so Divine Source, please turn me into my pound of boards for some last words of praise and encouragement for all the healing that they've done. Okay. Everything is scary and you feel vulnerable, but that doesn't mean anything is going to go wrong. Anxious feelings aren't usually indicative of reality. And it feels like you were put under so much fear, you know? It feels like you were someone who had to bite your tongue, who couldn't be yourself because there was someone else or other powers that be who were trying to control you. And because you said, no, you're not going to control me like that, because you stood up for yourself, because you rewired your nervous system so that you could stand up for yourself, you took the opportunity to realize that you took your power back. You really just took your power back. You took your strength, your energy, your vulnerability back. And you said, fuck them, fuck it. And recognize that your reality is from you. And you've shaped your reality to be something, to be supportive of you. And now you're in a position of healing, who have healed, to process all of this and to not have to take any of that bullshit or trauma or that survival mentality that others have forced upon you. So for that, congratulations. I hope you recognize how much work you've done and how proud you should be. And just like pile 3, like I said earlier, you should go treat yourself, because that is not easy work. If this is in regards to a love connection or relationships, or again, patriarchal drama, like we discussed earlier, I highly recommend you go to this YouTuber called Manifestel. She is amazing when it comes to validating a lot of experiences that the patriarchy has inflicted upon women. And she does a great job at having a support group for the spoiled girlies. Yeah. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope this gave you clarity in terms of what you've healed, and I hope you're really proud of yourself for doing all this work, because it's not easy work. So pat yourself on your back, get yourself something nice, treat yourself, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, night, or evening. Take care. Bye.